Now, someone the other day asked me, can you actually not eat pork? And that is when it got me thinking. I've never actually thought about this beyond the point of, yeah, it's haram. And that is when it got me thinking, there might be so many other things which I actually don't know of. So I was doing some research, and Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Ma'idah, both of these surahs talk about categories of food which is not actually allowed in Islam. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also gets into the reasoning behind this in the later hadith. So we are going to be discussing what these food categories are and also why it is not permissible in this video. And we will be starting off with the first and the most popular one, which is pork. Now, pork is very interesting, guys, because you need to know there are three things. First, it is considered impure not just in Islam, but Christianity and Judaism both consider this to be an impure animal. Second, biologically, it is a very impure animal. It consumes its own shit of other animals, literally. And it has personality traits which we are now seeing a lot in the West. We are not going to get into that. And the third and the final thing is rijis, which means it is impure in multiple chapters throughout the Quran, and it has been name mentioned that pork is not to be consumed by us Muslims, but it has also been very clearly implied that it is also a command. Like, I'm not going to explain to you why, but it is a command and it is a test to us Muslims. Now, one thing which I have noticed, this is off tangent, it is not from the Quran, it is just what I have noticed. Living in the West in the past 2 years, I've come to realize that even vegetarian food tends to have pork in it, and it is often somehow blanketed with adjectives to cover up that it is pork. But you see it being sneaked into the food which you're consuming, especially sweets, which is very addictive for people, and people constantly go back to consuming it. And they're like, oh, this is nice, it's fine, it's just a small quantity, it's vegetarian, whatever. But please do understand, there is a reason why it is a test. And a lot of Islamic scholars have disputed that it is also a test because you tend to adapt the behavior from animals which you consume. And that is why you need to understand that pigs have a very horrible behavior and personality trait, and you need to know that it's something you would want to be clear of. So in the West, at least, we see a lot of this happening. A lot of your vegetarian food is also sneaked in with pork in it. So that's a pattern I've noticed here. Shifting vegan in some sweets has helped me avoid it, but I do tend to pick up the sweet packets every now and then to see if there's something which is there. So do pay attention to this, because this is an observation I've had. Now, the second category is dead animals. Dead animals in most cases are not allowed because firstly, it might have died through a disease, or it might not be slaughtered properly. And blood is also haram in Islam, which is the third category. And blood also carries a lot of impurities. It is not just Islam, it is also scientifically proven. So having blood in the animal can cause a lot of diseases. So it is again not allowed. A lot of plague came due to the blood back in the early centuries. So blood is not allowed in Islam. There are cultures which consume blood, which boil blood and consume it. I know of people who drink and eat blood soup and other dishes. We are not allowed to judge and we are not allowed to say anything, but it is not permissible for us. Then the fourth category is any food which is slaughtered in the name of anything other than Allah. This is also not permissible because we do not put anyone in equation to Allah, and we do not consume food which is slaughtered for anyone but his name. So, and I'm talking about food in other cultures where you would give it to the gods. It's just not permissible for us to consume. We are not allowed to tell anything. It's their culture, their tradition. You have to respect it, but you just cannot consume it. If you do not want to consume it, you don't have to be rude to them and say that we don't consume your food. You can just take it, donate it, but just don't consume it. It's not permissible for us. Now, interestingly, the fifth category is subdivided into types which we cannot consume. I've got to know that birds with talons is not permissible in Islam. Carnivorous animals are not permissible in Islam. Donkeys which are domesticated are not permissible in Islam. And this was mentioned by the Prophet himself, that whatever donkeys you have domesticated for the use of carrying luggage or whatever, you cannot consume it. However, if it is a wild donkey, then it is permissible. Now, when it comes to carnivorous animals and birds with talons, is the same logic as pork. You cannot consume them because of their nature of dominance and their nature to hunt for the game. Most animals don't even consume their entire food, they just hunt for the sake of hunting. The other reason is not just their personality traits, but also carnivorous animals tend to have more diseases because they hunt on dead animals too. Now, one might say a carnivorous animal like a lion does not scavenge. They do in some cases, and they do tend to eat in ways with which makes the food unpure for them, and you consuming them will make it harmful for you. So there is a reason why it isn't allowed. It's not just the personality trait; it's also that they carry diseases. Those are a lot of things, a lot of information to process. But this was actually a very interesting video. I did not know about the talons. Not that I used to eat eagles and stuff, but it was something which I didn't know the explanations for, and I didn't think about it much. But yeah, which means sharks go out of the window. You don't need to Google for that because they are carnivorous animals again. So yeah, anyway, this video research has helped me a lot. I've come to realize that I do not know a lot about life, and as a young Gen Z kid, I feel the need that I need a guide in life, and what better guide than Islam to follow. And I've come to realize that following this may limit me from certain interactions, but will also help me with influence within my community. Now, let's say if I want to be an influencer, I would like to have influence among the people who share my ideology. And I believe in Islam. I have always believed in Islam because it's not just about where I grew up, it's also that it felt right for me, the entirety of it. And now it feels much better that I'm researching for my own sake, and documenting it might help someone else who has doubts. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.